back with another episode of the Tales of the Pleb podcast. I am still Alfie. Don't know who else I'd be, but we move. Um, yeah, no changes to the settings we're in, but I don't know why we would. The studio's pretty nice as it is. As it is, Jesus. Um, I did have a few things I wanted to say before getting into it. Um, my weekly thank you. As always, thank you for those who listen. Thank you for those who watch. Support the TikToks, the Instagrams, all of it. If you still like it, drop a like on the videos and stuff. And yeah, these are the links as per usual at Tales of Pleb on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I am trying to push to YouTube as per usual. Um, not because we don't got loads of viewers, but you know, we're getting traction on the TikTok and the Instagram, which is certainly ideal. It's quite warm in here today. Um, as of recording, it's been 6 days since the last recording. Don't know why I like to keep you updated with that, but uh, keeps you in the loop, I guess. It will probably be released tomorrow, as of today, because it is 11 o'clock when I'm started to record this. So yeah, hopefully this won't be a super long one. Um, yeah, because else that would be unlucky. Yeah, I also have to give my normal. We will get guests on eventually. It won't just be me sat here. As always, I can say we could do with a co-host if somebody actually wanted to sit in a room with me for about an hour and just yap about whatever. But it's really trippy, my shirt. I don't like it because it's got stripes and it's like, yeah, it's weird. But anyway, that's besides the point. I also wanted to clarify in my Dartmoor Legends video, I talked about how pixies are fiends. Well, not fiends, but they're a bit cheeky and mischievous. But I did some research uh, and with that, it's only the Cornish pixies that are like that. Apparently, Devonshire pixies are respectable and kind, and they planted flowers in a lady's garden or something. That's another legend. I'm gonna have to do another one of them because that is content galore. I also need to do another reason, like top 10 reasons why I hate Cornwall. There are probably more than 10, but if I can think of more than 10, I'll give it more than 10. But we will decide as and when. However, we can only we can only pump out enough content for maybe one a week is the rough estimate at the minute. However, I was going to say something else. Um, oh, I normally add how I haven't been revising uh, for exams. However, I would lie if I hadn't. I have my notebook, which is this, and it's got all my biology revision in it. So today I was catching up on plant hormones. So if any of you like auxins or gibberellins or what's the other one? Yeah, no, lost. Ethene, that's the one. That's the big one. That's not the big one. They're all big. They're all just plant hormones, aren't they? But that's besides the point. Anyway, as always, these introductions get longer and longer each time I do them, which is almost as the same as the episodes. They seem to get longer as time goes on. It's probably because I'm just blabbing to myself um, in the intros. But um, today I do have a plan, surprisingly. Um, and that plan is to be about the church. Why is he doing one about the church? But I believe that this is going to be worth it. Yeah, and you probably, I'm going to go off on a little tangent, maybe about a minute long, probably longer, but basically, it's going to sound like a boring episode, but I'm going to try and do my best to make it not boring because, yeah, it is a boring topic to some people. I'd say, and you're probably thinking, oh, he's going to try and make me like understand his religion, blah, 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 blah. But no, what I'm going to try and do, instead of bore you with religious gobbledygook and go, this is my Bible, blah, 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 I'm going to say what I believe and some of the memories I've got from my church. However, I want to also clarify that it's not, I want to also clarify I haven't gone to church for quite a while. And I wouldn't, I don't want to say that that's because of me not wanting religion or anything. Um, if anything, I'd say I still am Christian if I had to be put in a box, but at the minute I'm kind of feeling it out, and yeah, I will say that a big part of the reason I haven't been to my church recently is because I believe that a good number of people there are a bit stuck up. And also, not that I am part of this community, but my church doesn't necessarily agree with more modern beliefs such as LGBTQ, blah, 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 blah. So I almost am boycotting my church. I would say I still have religion and still believe myself to be a Christian. However, I can't be a Christian if I don't like what the church is teaching, if that makes sense. And I don't want to say this lightly, but again, I also think that a lot of the people that go to my church are stuck up assholes, to put it in better terms. And you can say what you like. Sure, I can be an asshole at times. I completely know and agree with that. If you wanted to call me that, I know that I can very easily be a and a dickhead. So I don't want to come off as it's not, because at the end of the day, everyone can, and I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I hate this person, I hate all these people, and I'm this perfect person, because nobody's perfect. Like, and I know that one of my shortcomings is being selfish. I feel sometimes that I'm very focused, not necessarily focused on myself, but I try so, I want to say like, but I also don't want to paint myself, I don't want to paint myself in a bad light, but I don't see myself in a good light. I think that's another thing I'd say, because I'm going to be honest on here, on the internet, the wide space called the interweb. And well, there goes my meaningful conversation to myself, and the internet. I'm going to be honest, I hinted at it last episode, and I do struggle mentally. And I want to say that, especially over the past 2 years, um, and I think one of the big questions I've had for myself is, am I a good person? I think that it's been a good. I think it's been good that I've had this time to reflect, but also I think it also makes things a bit more murky as well. Uh, but I think it's been worthwhile that I have taken this time and have looked at myself and tried to better myself for the right reasons. And even still, I know that I'm not perfect, and I want to clarify that before going in and like going and saying, "Oh, these people are assholes," and blah 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 blah, because I don't mean it as in because I know that I can be an asshole too. So, and anyway, I'm not going to get caught up on that because that leads me into an existential crisis where you'll see me curled up in that corner crying probably or under the desk because yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there before going in and pinpointing hate at people. Or even if I didn't pinpoint hate at people, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, the I don't go to church because the people there are twats. With me trying to act perfect, I don't think I'm perfect. I just think that I think that I don't think I'm perfect is what I'm trying to get at. But I also don't think I'm. I think I'm in that kind of neutral ground is what I would say. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And I also don't want to use this episode as like a I'm going to push you in a corner and make you be Christian because that's not how I roll. And that's not what I intend to do. I intend to share this podcast and share some memories that I enjoy or that I don't like because, yeah. Um, so, yeah, that's out there before we get into the meat and bone of the episode. Because I think it's better to be honest about these things. But yeah, as I was saying, I haven't been for quite some time, so I actually don't know what goes on anymore. As I said, that's for many different reasons. Uh, Partially because of the people, partially because I don't know what the church is teaching actually, and blah blah blah. But most, but to add some more context again, my church is Church of England. There's multiple denominations of Christians, Catholics, Protestants are the main two, and Orthodox is a third if you wanted to care. Protestant goes into like Catholic's like the main one, and like most people know they've got the Pope, all that blah. And Protestant kind of splits off into multiple. And you've got Church of England, which is a main Protestant one, founded by Henry VIII because he wanted to get married with Anne Boleyn, and the Pope wouldn't let him. Blah 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 blah. I'm not a history teacher, um, but yeah, my church has a youth group which is mixed. It's like I don't want to come out and be like, oh yeah, youth group's fun, but it's also like, sure, it's good at times, but um, again, I don't want to lay a trail of hate without saying that I'm not this perfect human being because nobody is. Uh, but definitely recently, I'd say it's become a bit more clear, a bit more. You've got to be in this group, or you're in, or in this group, or this group, or this group, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's always the nicest to be quite frank. Um, and again, that's nothing on the the leaders there or any of that. It's just how it's turned out, and it becomes a very uninclusive environment, which, uh, again, I disagree with because the foundation of Christianity is built on including everyone, built on including the people, the outcasts, the weak, the lost, the lonely, you know, and yet it feels like my church isn't that and isn't welcoming, isn't very inclusive. You're either in a group or you're not in a group, and blah 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 blah. Again, I don't want to. However, I will go into some memories. My church has a camp every year, and it's got and it's in the summer for about a week, from what I can remember. And that used to be at Sparkford, which is close to Yeovil in Somerset. Yeah, wait, freak, damn. You know, it's one of those locations where you just don't care about Yeovil. I've never seen anybody go, "Oh, I'm fiending to go to Yeovil today," you know. But oh no, wait, Yeovil. It might be in Dorset, boys. It's really weird because Somerset's the north one and Dorset's the low one, and I feel like you'd expect it to be the other way around. I'm googling it because I can't be asked. Yeovil, 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 town in England. Ah, it is in Somerset. It's the closest. It's close to the southern border. It's literally across. It's close to Dorset, is what I say. But anyway, that's besides the point. Um, so we used to go, and you can only go when you're 14 to 18. I seem to remember. Um, and that was enjoyable. The first year you go, the first year I went was 2022, and can't really remember lots from it, to be honest. Um, yeah, it's a long time ago, but obviously by that stage, I already knew I was going to Korea, so I was telling people actually, and all these people were saying how, oh, we can't wait to see you next year, and blah 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 blah. And I was going to South Korea the year after, so I was like, I am actually not here next year. So everyone was quite sad because obviously I'm just the light of the party. No, I joke, I tease. Um, but yeah, so that was that, and I can't remember. I really can't remember anything from it. Um, but yeah, as I say, it's a weird time for me. And yeah, I really can't remember anything from it. I think they because we stayed in a private school there because it's got loads of boarding, um, and it has a pool. It's got great grounds, and most private schools rent themselves out. Is what I say. And we had to, and we because it was our first year. Me and a lot of the other lads. I'll shout them out actually. I'll name them. We had Ethan, Billy, Isaac, Eman, Ethan. I think we had another, but I genuinely can't remember. I feel so bad. Me? Yeah, me, obviously. And yeah, so we all stayed on the bottom floor, and it was actually really nice, like the bottom floor. And we're all on like these little mattresses on the floor next to the door, and it was quite it was weird. But yeah, that year I don't really remember anything from it, to be honest. Um, we'll fast forward a couple years, and then we go to last year, which no, we go to 2024 because I missed one year, and everyone was like, everyone at my church was like, "Oh, you're actually like sad. It's actually sad you're gone. You're not here." Anyway, the year after, 2024, I we went, and it's a great. It was like you'd finished GCSEs. We'd been in summer for ages, and we go, and we get a nicer dorm this time. Uh, Same lads as last time, minus Isaac, because he's in one of the older dorms, and yeah, so we were on. So imagine this house. It's a big manor house because private school, obviously. You've got the bottom floor, the second floor, the third floor. We were never on the third floor. We got to the middle floor, and each year it had a theme. One year it was the first year we went. It was 80s, um, because it was 2022. Stranger Things was popular. Stranger Things is still popular. Actually, it got quite popular at the start of the year. I'd have watched it. Um, Very enjoyable series, I will say. I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, 2024, it was the Stone Age. So, yeah, names themed around rocks slash dinosaurs, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. And yeah, and as the time grew on, our leaders were quite chill. We had a guy called Cameron and a guy called Robbo. And Robbo's class, Cameron's class, and as the week progressed, I slowly adopted more southwesterly accent, like a Janner accent, and yeah, and it slowly became like the Wurzels. I've got a brand new combine harvester, um, which is an absolute banger if you haven't listened. Tune, I will say, and yeah, so that was that, and I and I got a bit of notoriety because I had the absolute most drip on camp. I don't know why I've hit rip, but I'll grab him now. Just lightning with Queen Croc. You can't handle the heat. Pow. I don't know if I've showed you that side. It's great. And anyway, yeet. Um, yeah. So because I eBayed them for about 18 quid and they were the real things, I'm not having anyone say they weren't, because they were. They had the Crocs logo, all of it. They had the whole shebang on the Crocs. And I gained quite a bit of notoriety because of my Crocs. And yet, because my love for cars was well known by this point, and they absolutely love it. Um, and every evening we'd go into the main auditorium and there would be a thing called the news, and it's basically two leaders sat at the front on a table just going through things of the day, trying to make it humorous. And I got famous on the news at Sparkford because of my Crocs, because somebody well no because somebody at the camp didn't like my Crocs, so it became like a little battle. And then my Croc broke halfway through the week. I was fuming, actually devastated that my Croc had broken, and so that got on the news, obviously, as well. And so, anyway, um, and as the week progressed, I cracked more jokes. And there's one day where we had some time to do whatever, you know. So we played water polo, and our leader Cameron had given us a mighty pep talk where he just started screaming at the top of his lungs at us, telling us that we were not doing well and we needed to buck our ideas up as such. But after that, there's a Mackey's across the road, so we got in the leader's car, we got in Robbo's car, drove over to the Mackey's, and in the end, we ended up singing "I've Got a Brand New Combine Harvester" in the fake Jana accent. So that was fun. Um, and yeah, then as per, we have a like a dinner where you actually dress up and the room's themed in your style. So we all, so me and our dorm dressed up as the Rolling Stones. Um, and we got down, and somebody didn't bring the speaker, and I won't name names because it's a shameful act. So we couldn't blast Rolling Stones, um, which was very upsetting. Um, and I pointed out that everyone is dressed like this one person in the picture. I didn't know who it was, but they all dressed the same as they all dressed the exact same as this one guy in the picture, and you could see it. And it's very funny to me. But anyway, and at this dinner, we people were starting singing songs. At, at the banging the table. Stop going down. My word. And sorry. And I obviously, as I would, I started banging the table singing I got a brand new hook combine harvester in this accent and talking about how my farmer's shed had been or something. I cannot remember. I just started going, Jeremy, farmer's shed like got caved in like right in yeah. Blah 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 blah. Anyhow, breathe. Okay. And so I and some guy had won the like because some guy won like this table tennis tournament. They all called him like King Nate, and they brought him out to a new national anthem, which is God Save the King. Yeah, yeah. Okay, and nobody was joining in, so I started singing it from the top of my lungs, which was quite embarrassing actually, looking back. But everyone was like, and yeah, whoops. Um, yeah. So anyway, and then somebody had lost their shampoo or something, or it, like the shampoo bottle broke or something like that, and they were telling us about it, and I said, and then I was like, and then as you do, you ask, what shampoo is it? And then they said like L'Oreal or something, I don't remember. And I asked what flavor it was. Um, yeah, which yeah, I you know average question. I thought and I will die on this that shampoos come in flavors, not scents. That might be because I'm eating them. I'm not entirely sure. But then Isaac looks at me and goes, Alfie, flavors. And I go, flavors. And he's like, flavors. And I'm like, yeah. And then he goes, they're scents. And I go, no, you haven't seen what I'm doing in Boots, mate. I leave muck in the bottles because my motor neurons aren't working, which is still what I do to this day. So if you see teeth marks on your shampoos, I was there in Boots, not I wasn't in your house trying to ravage the shampoo. But if you've got a good flavour of shampoo, you never know. Um, and yeah, that's kind of all I can remember from that as well. Uh, but then we have we also do some weekends away in like Easter holidays. So, and that's normally at Heatree on Dartmoor. Is a good place. I actually really like it there. So we go down and we go up. It's by Bobby Tracy, and we went for a couple years, and nothing really happened. Like the years before, the years prior, I don't think. One of them I kept falling on the floor. I can seem to remember. Yeah, that's about it really. Um, and yeah, that's kind of what I can remember, to be honest. And yeah, and anyway, but last year we went in after Easter, and you do some big games, I'd say. You do what we call wide games. And one of the years we went down onto the field and they just shining a torch and shouting "Respect the torch." Yeah, not entirely sure about that one. Might have joined the cult. I was never a big part of that one. Not really a fan. Didn't really back it. Um, then I think I told someone to kill themselves. Um, Complete accident. You're probably wondering how was that a slip of the tongue, but sometimes people just get on your nerves and you just slip. Your words slip out. But anyway, I did apologize quite quickly and explain myself, which was still not great. But anyway, last year, um, no, not coming to me at all. Last year something happened, and oh yes, last year we had a game show, and one of the things was to blow up a balloon blindfolded, and they didn't tell us this before we volunteered. So I go up thinking, oh, it'll be something stupid. I can do something stupid. I get told it's blowing up a balloon. Instantly, I go, yeah, I can't blow up a balloon. And um, yeah, we were given a minute, and my friend stood next to me, Ethan, the editor, or the former editor, as of right now. Hope revision's going well. Pooks. No, nuh-uh. I would say cut that, but so deal with it. Um, yeah, he blows up the balloon and then goes, "What if I tie a knot in it?" Blindfolded, mind, and I've barely blown the balloon. I think I've managed to, and it's genuinely like depressing. Everyone else has some balloon blown up. Mine's just like still floppy, as such. It happens all the time, to be quite frank. Just yeah. Anyway, um, we yeah. So yeah, that happened. Still one of my proudest moments, and and by the end of it, it was so bad that the whole room was going, "Alfie, Alfie, Alfie," and I'm just there like, and I just shout, "Don't patronize me. I've had enough." And yeah, I tried a lot of time after, and it still wouldn't blow up, and I was like, so anyway. But then there was also one game, which was capture the flag, and with this one we had to, and we were at the bottom. There was another team on the middle of this field, and we were in the woods, and there was another team right up in the top corner of the woods. I'm not, trust me. Yeah. So we went, killed yellow team first, grabbed their flag, which was just a yellow bit, and just twirled it around like monsters, and then um, in the end we had to charge up red team, and so we start charging up this hill, going stood in their base trying to stop us with water guns and stuff. And if you get touched, you got to go back to your base. It's really dumb. And anyway, I at first I ran in and tried to. It didn't work, surprisingly. So I just run back to my base, run back up the hill, back into the woods, try and survive. And then we managed to get it, and and then he jumps off onto the road there, and I follow him, and because we're getting chased down by a leader who's about 6'2", maybe even more, and that's massive. And we're off the path. I'm sprinting down the road, and in the end, another leader comes, and I keep sprinting. I'm out. We're out of bounds at this point, like so out of bounds, it's unreal. Because we've jumped onto the road, run all the way down the hill, and then at some point there's supposed to be a turning back on. I missed it completely to the junction at the bottom, which is actually onto the main road. And when I went back up the hill, I was expected to see nobody. But no, the leader on the opposite team then starts charging me down. So I then climb up into this like wooded bit by climbing by climbing on a grit salt bit, and then I have to climb over barbed wire. Then sprint across this field, across the archery like range they've got there, and run all the way back to my base. Luckily, my team had come, and I'd done the hard work that day, and I'm not letting anyone else take the credit for it. Um, it was also at that time where the ice bucket challenge was really popular again. Um, so we had a lot of people being forced to do it there, where they were like, so I luckily didn't get nominated till after the time. Well, I got nominated whilst there, but I managed to do it the day we came back. So that was ideal. And but yeah, that was the weekend that I can remember. And then we went to Tiverton this year, a place nobody on earth should go. Genuinely a shithole, for lack of a better word. And I can remember a lot more. However, I can't remember a lot. We we weren't allowed on the field because it was close to rugby season, so we actually couldn't go up the field because it would ruin the grass. Um, Still can't get over that. Just really annoying me. Really annoying. Just make every journey so much longer. And we had a guy called Shane on our dorm, and he was from South Africa. South Africa. So we just started. So no, I say we. I just started to go because there's a I don't know how to explain this. There's some content creators on TikTok and Instagram that make fun of like I don't want to say make fun of, that sounds really rude. You know, just like make they're from Australia, which is nowhere near South Africa, but they team up with South African people before, and they just make fun of like stuff and how they go, "Mana boys, rugby," and stuff. So I I did that and was just like, "Rugby, we're going to do some naked bean wrestling in a South African act." That was that, and there are a few diabolical photos of me taken. One of me in some like children's cars glasses, going, you know, which looks iconic as, of course it does. How can I not look iconic? No, guys, I swear I'm not a narcissist. Trust me. But um, each time we go, you get given a choice of what you want to do. You can do like so many activities. I think this time there was like laser tag, water park, pottery, and blah blah blah. Me, Luca, and Ethan decided to do pottery painting. We just painted it. We didn't make the pottery. That's mad techie if you can do that. But before that, we also had to make. We had a day where we made, but I'm gonna get into the pottery in a later thing. We picked, and then we had a later day where we had to choose what we wanted to do. Not wanted to do, sorry. What we had to choose what we um, we had a day where we chose whether or not to go. Not go. I know what the word is. We had a day where we had like loads of activities on a round robin system that we had to complete, and one of them was make a potato mascot, and then we had to present this potato mascot. We made a potato mascot called Little Bro. He had a mohawk with popsicle lolly sticks, lollipop sticks. They are the ones, yeah. And we made the potato like that, and he sat down, and we made some backstory for him. We made him a we made him a biker or a former biker, Little Bro, because that's his rap name, and Little. And then because we said he would, because I, because that was like the part I helped the backstory for Little Bro, um, along with they were like, "Oh, you go present," and I was like, "Fine." I went, presented, and because I said he was a rat, I had to do a freestyle, because everyone was begging for a freestyle, which I hit absolutely deviously, is what I would say. If it was actually a good rap, it was not. It was like it wasn't. I can think of the other rap because uh, we we make me and my friend Ethan, because he's musically inclined, me and him made a rap where I just did the lyrics and he did all that timing stuff like that. It was class. And that's like all I remember was because all I can remember is the last line because I said something along the lines of he's got a huge rack of cash, but I left pause in between the of cash because I felt like a church thing. I couldn't just say he's got a huge rack. But yeah, that's the only line I can remember. But anyway, Little Bro became very famous for the week. We took him everywhere with us, and then some twats, I won't name, took him because they wanted to be, oh, I'm cool and I can take Little Bro, you know, and it's just stupid, Like I mean it, like do something original if you would be able to make a Little Bro of your own, That's all I'll say. Um, we also have had a gunge machine, which just slime or whatever, and me and Ethan got nominated because out or something. No, it was because our sisters were in another dorm and they were just like, yeah, just put our brother in. So yeah, we got gunged. I did the casual L'Oreal ad. My hair was looking absolutely dreadful at the time. And then there was this tiny little room. So me and Ethan just peered through the window. And so yeah, which looked surprisingly creepy. I'd assume I didn't see. Nobody took any photos, sadly. But yeah, we. But little bro is important for the pottery. I assure you. I'll need to go and grab it, but I'll be back. Little bro. Um, this is a lifelike replica. Obviously, it's got 95 for Lightning McQueen. Nothing on the back. But yeah, that's little bro. And however, and each night we'd play a game of fives where everyone holds out their hand and either goes fist or five, and you've got to guess the right fingers. How and you've got to say thank you for a lovely game of fives without laughing. Sorry, you leave after saying that. You after the game and don't get a forfeit, and you get given a forfeit. And one of the forfeits was to wear a towel as a cape for the last day. Me and Ethan got. So we became Batman and Robin. I am the night. No, 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 no. Yeah, we just started going around that to people. It was class. And then later that night, we had a talent show. And I wasn't supposed to join in the talent show, but then I got asked because the lads were doing Life is a Highway, the song from Cars. I was buzzing like upon hearing that before they actually went and did it. So, and then I got asked by them by Ethan, Billy, Luca, and Isaac to go help them. And so now there is a 4-minute video of me with my hair tied up in like a little flower from the top, because it's not long enough to do anything at the back. Uh, going, running around this front of it, microphone to a whole audience, and in a with my Lightning McQueen Crocs on and in a Lightning McQueen shirt, which because that's going to take their time. So yeah, I did win the talent show. So yeah, that was pretty good, I will say. Um, but yeah, that was a memory I've got. Um, um, as I was saying, what I forgot that each year there's a reunion for Sparkford, where we went up to London. And one year, well, actually 2024, because I can't remember past that, I went up and we stopped at Gordano Services, which is around Bristol, and way up and on the way back, actually. And we go in, and I was wearing a red fleece, actually the same red fleece I was in there, which is iconic. And we look over, and then people start going, Alfie, there's a guy in here that looks really like you. And I turn around, and he genuinely, from the back, he looked the exact same as me. I genuinely can't describe it. I got a picture of it. I got a picture of him because I needed to send it to somebody. Um, it was that like or that similar to me, and I will get it up. I did have shorter hair at the time. I will get a picture up as well of me with short hair because that is also necessary. So that's the picture I initially just had to check I had the right photo there, and then that's a picture of at Sparkford at the reunion. Obviously, I've brown head, but that's besides the point. But yeah, he genuinely looked the exact replica, carbon copy almost. Uh, and so I went to the toilet, and then I saw he had a fat mustache on this face. Yeah, I cannot grow a cookie duster for the life of me. But so we've got Babyface out for quite a while. But I, because all the leaders were there, we had um, one of our leaders was doing prayer. I don't know. He said something. I made a joke about it, and then he then had to go and do a prayer about 10 seconds later. So me and him were both giggling. So he's at the front giggling, I'm in the back giggling, and it was so bad. But it was funny. I can't remember what we said. We got taken to this little kiddie park, like genuinely a soft play area meant for 5-year-olds, and even that's pushing. Like this is a soft play area meant for about 3-year-olds in a mall at near Canary Wharf, and yeah, we got sent in there and had to deal with an hour of our time, which was certainly an experience. Um, Glad we don't have to do that again. And I I can't remember. And yeah, so that happened, and then they did a final news, and Plymouth lot had come up on a combine harvester sent by me. None of that actually happened, so enjoy my Lightning McQueen combine harvester army. And again, but as I hinted at earlier, me and he bought Little Bro, and I won't sing it here. I won't publish it because it is horrific. But I'll give you a couple of the lines. Call me little bro. I'm a sweet potato. Used to be a biker, now I'm a prime striker because I'm one of the greats. Uh, then there was another. Go forward a bit. Bars like fire. Better call man Sam. Coming in the dorm room. I wish they ran scrammed or ran out the dorm because they ain't original. See man in a church acting all pontifical and whimsical, wonderful, warm and lyrical. Put me on pottery, I own a monopoly. Ding with a little bell. Uh, that's all I can remember. Oh no, words like Zeus, body like doctors. Wait, no, body like Zeus and words like Dr. Seuss. So we had some bars, um, and I didn't go to the reunion at Plymouth, but for Tiverton, but apparently that was played eventually, which is nice. But yeah, as I say, since the summer, I think I've been once, and again, that's so I actually don't have any other stories that I can think of. Um, but yeah, as I said, I don't know if I'll go back. I don't. I don't want to rule it out, but I don't know if I'll go back to that church in particular. I want to keep going with my religion because when it's actually understood the way it's supposed to be understood, it can be really powerful stuff and really motivate you. But I can't. I feel like I don't want to sit in a place which I don't agree with the way people treat other people. The word is actually spoken. I can't, in my right mind, sit there and act it when so much of it is so wrong and so warped into how they want you to see it, is what I will say. All I'll say about it. And I don't want to go to a youth group. People don't get included. And, you know, I sure some of it is people don't want to be included, but part of it is like there are groups and it is cliquey. Uh, so yeah, that's my opinion on it. If we did a youth group meetup outside the church, I said to somebody the other day that I might, it would have to depend. I, as I say, I really get along with the lads. It's just some of the other people are just a bit like that, just a bit. And yeah, I think it's bad when me and a friend at football telling another mate who goes to the church how exclusive and grouped up it is in the youth group, and he was so blind to it. And then that whole football training session, he was like, "Wait, it actually is." So yeah, and you know, as I said, I struggle with my mental health. I'm not going to hide that, and most of the lads know that they go out and block people randomly, and it's not because I don't like them. It's because I don't want to, you know, expend my energy. And you could say, you know, I don't block them, which I agree, it's a shortcoming for sure. But at the same time, I don't want, if they're cluttering up my space, I don't want them in my space. I don't need space invaders invading my space, and I don't want to see people going like in those areas. And um, yeah, it's just like I did that, and like I do it to majority of people in contact, or I will just, and if I don't, I'd ghost them because in those moments I just need personal space. I need like clear headspace. I need like time to process my feelings. Um, and yeah, it kind of just annoyed me how some people got that and were way by it and were clearly like, and all the lads knew that I was fine, and it was just one of those moments where I just needed space. And I really appreciate that. And but it was also kind of, it felt to me like some of the people who really advocate for mental health there, and almost, I don't want to act, but how some how some people can be really um two-sided, I want to say. um and I don't know if I do it. I probably do. I feel like it's a common thing with most people where you gossip about someone one way and somebody gossips about you in one way and then acts different to you in another way. And it's one of those things that just happens in life. But I feel like people who advocate and act so deeply on these social issues and new world issues, and then just don't know how to respond when someone actually in the area around them that way, almost, you know, and don't know what to do when someone's actually faced with challenges. And I don't want to say that I was completely not to blame in that situation. Of course, go to me all the time. There's never a situation where anyone is, and I want that to be clear. But at the same time, I think you've got to just deal with what you've been given. And wrong to be one way with certain issues, not stand for them, you know. And I think that's one thing that ekes me wrongly, because I don't want to say I am boycotting the church, but I definitely don't agree with the unwelcomingness to the LGBTQ community at my church that used to go on. I don't know if it still does. It probably does, according to my sister who still goes. and the inclusiveness is still very low. Um, I can't agree with that when the religion is founded upon Jesus loved, God is loving. How can you sit there and say certain people can't love certain people when at the end of the day, God is love? You can't be believing in a loving God who loves everyone if you don't love your fellow people. And I really can't get over that hurdle. So I don't want to say I choose to stand up against it, but I choose not to go, partially because of that, and again, partially because people are assholes. Um, and again, I want to clarify, I don't say that with me being perfect. I know that I can be a real cunt so many times, and I know that, and I want to state that this is probably the most clarity I've had all podcast long. In my 14 episodes, this is the most clarity we'll get. But no, seriously, I'm not perfect. I can be an asshole, and I can be even more than an asshole. And even that doesn't sum it up sometimes, is what I would say. However, I also I also can't get over some people, some people are just also assholes. But I want to state that I don't think I'm this perfect human being. That's all I want to say. I don't want to be like, I don't want to turn this into a really hateful episode and be like, yeah, this person's a cunt, you're a prick, you just, you know, I don't want to like and be rude. I feel like there's everyone can be a prick at times. I can be a prick around, you know, but I think you can take the log out of your eye before trying to take the speck out of the other eye. Similar to what he said, at least. And, it's like, I feel I don't want to sit here and be like, oh yeah, I can call everyone through names and stuff with whilst being like, I'm not, I'm, and be, I can't call everyone rude names and be like a nasty person to them if I don't say that that I'm an asshole too. I can be an asshole. Everyone can sit here and be like, yeah, I'm this perfect person and you're a prick, you're a prick, you're a prick, because I'm not. And that's where I'll end it because I don't want to keep going over the same stuff because it's like that's just how I feel. And again, I don't intend this to be rude. I just because I know that I'm a prick. But yeah, if people from church are listening, deal with it. Yeah. Anyhow, peace, lads. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to end it there. Hour and 3 minutes. It's still a long one. Enjoy one a week. Woo. Yeah. Keep revising. Stay in school. Nobody's perfect. Yeah. Love you all. Bye bye. Oh wait, I forget it does this. Oh, peace, lads. Enjoy. Have a good week. Thanks for listening if you've made it this far. Yeah. Much love. In a bit, boys.